He came from nowhere. He spoke with unquestioned authority, and the most important patriarch in human history bowed before him. No announcement, no explanation, no recorded beginning. Yet when Abraham stood before this man, he did not argue, he did not hesitate, he submitted. And in that single quiet encounter, the entire structure of priesthood, kingship, and divine authority was rewritten. This encounter changes how authority, priesthood, and blessing actually work in the Bible. If you've only heard the surface explanation, you haven't heard the story yet. If this kind of hidden depth matters to you, like this video, share it with someone who studies Scripture deeply. Subscribe and turn on notifications, because some stories don't repeat themselves, and this is one of them. Abraham had just returned from bloodshed. Kings had fallen, armies were broken, Lot had been rescued. By every standard of the ancient world, Abraham was the dominant power in the region. Victors usually received tribute. Blessings flowed upward from the defeated to the conqueror. But this time, someone else stepped forward. Not a general, not a rival king, not a prophet calling down fire. A priest from Salem. His name was Melchizedek, and Scripture introduces him with no background, no warning, and no defense, as if the text assumes you already know who he is. Melchizedek does something unthinkable. He blesses Abraham, not symbolically, not politely, with divine authority. Blessed be Abram by God Most High, possessor of heaven and earth. This matters because blessings only flow downward from greater to lesser, and Abraham responds not with resistance but with obedience. He gives Melchizedek a tenth of everything, a tithe, before the law, before Moses, before Levitical priesthood, which means Abraham recognized something ancient, something higher, something older than covenant itself. Scripture is precise. Kings rule, priests intercede. Those roles were never meant to merge. When future kings tried to act as priests, they were punished. But Melchizedek breaks that rule effortlessly. He is called King of Salem, priest of God Most High. And his name isn't symbolic coincidence. Melchizedek, King of Righteousness. Salem, peace. Righteousness ruling over peace. This isn't political authority, it's cosmic order, and it existed before Israel. Genesis records genealogies with obsessive detail. Who begat whom? Who lived how long? Who died? But Melchizedek, nothing. No father, no mother, no tribe, no descendants, no death. The text doesn't forget, it refuses. Centuries later, Hebrews confirms it. Without father or mother, without genealogy, having neither beginning of days nor end of life. This isn't normal biblical language. This is intentional theological disruption, because Melchizedek doesn't fit human categories. Theories have endured for millennia. A pre-incarnate appearance of Christ, a heavenly being manifesting in human form, a real king whose mystery was preserved to reveal divine truth. The Bible never settles the debate, and that's the point. Melchizedek wasn't written to be understood, he was written to be recognized, a reminder that God's authority did not begin with institutions and will not end with them. Later, David writes, "You are a priest forever, after the order of Melchizedek." Not Aaron, not Levi, Melchizedek. And the New Testament applies this directly to Jesus, a priest king, not bound by lineage, not limited by law, eternal. Which means Melchizedek wasn't an anomaly. He was a prototype, a revelation of divine order before religion formalized power. Melchizedek never appears again. No teachings, no followers, no legacy. because staying would have turned revelation into ritual. He came to reveal authority, not build an institution. He blesses, he confirms, he vanishes, leaving humanity with a dangerous truth. God does not always work through systems we control. Melchizedek didn't conquer territory, he didn't leave monuments, he didn't write laws. Yet his appearance echoes through Scripture like a divine interruption. A king without origin, a priest without end, a blessing that outranked covenant. Some figures change history through force, others change it by revealing how little we truly understand. Melchizedek did that in a single encounter and then disappeared before we could domesticate the mystery. If this story unsettled you, if it challenged what you thought you understood about authority, faith, and divine order, then don't scroll past this moment, because Scripture isn't just a record of events, it's a map of truths most people never slow down enough to see. Like, subscribe, share, not for entertainment, but because the mysteries hidden in plain sight still shape how power, faith, and obedience work today. And Melchizedek was only the beginning.